Hello and welcome to Focus 54, your real guide to African news. My name is Jeffrey Murimbechi. Glad to have you back in studio with us. And today is very interesting because the focus is on women. And quite recently, a huge conference was held in Harare. And I'm talking about the Arise Women of Africa conference, which brought together women from various parts of the continent, with a keynote speaker coming through from Tanzania and coming through with some massive nuggets in which they discussed several elements in terms of African trade for women, inclusion in various sectors of development, policy making, women's rights, and catering to different segments of women. And we'll be having two guests in studio that will help us explore the theme, making women's empowerment lived reality. Something that sounds very poetic, but something that really touches the heart and the soul of Africa. How can we make all of these discussions and all of these conferences become a reality to you and you back at home? And we'll be talking about this with our guests. But now let's dive into the important discussions we'll dive into the important discussions and the complexities and opportunities surrounding empowerment of women in Africa. And I know we say this quite lighthearted, and a lot of the times men like myself come through and discuss this, but today the women will come through and give us their direct perspective of where we're going as Africa. But now we touch down with some African news, and we kick off with South Africa, where in response to growing plastic pollution crisis in townships, a local company is rolling out reverse welding machines that encourage recycling through digital and informal methods. And this is helping reduce the waste and the carbon footprint in the nation of South Africa. We go east in Kenya, where northern Kenya is grappling with the deadly Kala-Aza, killing dozens of infecting hundreds of in remote regions. Recently in Africa has been facing other deadly diseases such as the Ebola virus, and the one that is ravishing and causing havoc in Kenya is the Kala-Aza. And we'll be keeping you in touch with all the news regarding this disease and how the people in Kenya and surrounding them are fighting it. We move now to Nigeria, where the issue of human trafficking has surfaced once again. And in another regional story, Ghana has repatriated Nigerians trafficked by a cybercrime syndicate. Now, the cybercrime has become one of the major crimes around the world, and this is mostly referred to in Nigeria as a 419, one of the police codes for a cybercrime and a fraud. Now, lastly, we look at Egypt, which consistently makes headlines for various things. And Egypt is recalibrating its economic strategy amid U.S. tariff turmoils. And it comes after President Trump's administration triggered a trade war with other countries across the world. And one of the largest affected is China, with tariffs going up as far as 145% on some goods and services. And we keep our eye on this tariff war and trade wars, because what's happening in America is also affecting Africa and the rest of the world. Stay tuned as the second segment is coming through, and we discuss the complexities and the realities of women being empowered in Africa. Welcome back to Focus 54 in our second segment, where we have two special guests, and we need to talk about the economic issues that are affecting the world, the tariff wars, how this affects our country as Zimbabwe, how this affects our continent as Africa, but with a strong focus on a particular segment of our demography, and we're talking about women. We spoke about the youth and the business people a couple of weeks ago, but today we are joined by Nyingetirai Mahofa, who's the national chairperson of the Zimbabwean chapter, as well as Yolanda Mayengwa, the secretary for the persons with disabilities. Ladies, welcome to Focus 54.
Thank you so much, Chef.
It's good to have you. Yolanda, you have a lot of cheer, and I hope that when we're done with our discussion, we'll also bring smiles to those people who want to find out more about what's going on in the world. Now, given the Arise Women of Africa conference in Harare, how can African governments ensure that women's empowerment becomes lived in reality, across all sectors, and not just as policy statements and TV adverts? How can we make this a reality?
Governments should we should have government frameworks, and also they should have budgets so that whatever we discuss or whatever we want to do in our chapters across Africa, we'll be able to do it to the grassroots of a given country.
So can we actually have this as a reality to say, look, we discuss something as a policy statement. How does it then get down to the ground? You represent the younger women within Africa and within Zimbabwe.
All right, so when you're talking about the other groups, we're talking about the grassroots level, where we come as a young people, as young women from the community, which is the grassroots. So when we work with the grassroots, we are saying that we should get the information from the people who are in the community, from the people who are facing these challenges, from the people who are into daily activities of their challenges, problems, and these people, they have to come out with how to solve these problems. They've also come up with solutions, because you cannot solve a problem that you're not facing. But to the one, if you come to me and ask me, what are the challenges faced by women with disability? I'll just say, we're facing these challenges. So that's how we come up with people from the grassroots. So they say, come to us, ask us, and we'll give you the direction that we go this way, because we are the people on the ground, and we are the people who are facing these challenges on our daily lives.
Now, Yolanda, let's talk about, you spoke about, people living with disabilities, and you spoke about young women, and looking at Africa, we have different cultures, and we have cultural systems. Some of them become barriers of how women can be a part of economic development. What are some of the solutions directly, do you believe, can make women hinder all of these challenges, these barriers of entry?
Sure. So when it comes to us, a woman, with the barriers that we are facing as a continental, first thing that we should do, that we used to be living in the charity model, whereby women will be sitting at home, relaxing, and whereby our husbands or our brothers will be doing these things for us. But for now, this is 2025, we are now living in the economic empowerment model, whereby we are saying, we no longer want fish. Can you also give us the road so that we can also go to the dam and fish our own fish? We also want to be economically empowered, so that we can sustain our life. When you're talking about women, we have different stages of women. We have got widowed, we have got married, we have got single mothers, we have got single ladies out there. So you seem that no one can be capable of taking care of themselves, and no one may come to save them. So we are saying, no one is coming to save you. Get up and save yourself. Even though we are in the Africa and we've got several traditions that hinders women from accessing different services, from doing some things that says, as a woman, you should not be doing. There's a saying here in Shona in Zimbabwe that says, musoro ndiye murume ndiye musoro wemba, whereby, but so as women, we're saying, it's just to a barrieta, whereby you say, you come from this side and I come from this side, then we mix at the table. So when we come in the table, you are bringing your ideas, and I'm also bringing my ideas. It might be pay, it might be everything that I get accessible to, so that we become one. Everyone is now involved, and now we are living a better life and fully.
I think that is truly inspirational. Now, since you use the Shona proverb, I'll throw this one over to Jinke. When they say mushamkads, how can we then make this a reality, to say the home is economically economically driven by women. Just looking at our culture, yes, people say there are a lot of barriers, but the biggest earners in terms of agriculture, culturally, are women. How do we then get them involved in mass projects? You know, we've seen road projects, bridges, and a lot of construction is going on in different sectors. How then do we get the modern woman to be at the forefront of this without just talking about policy statements?
Actually, I'm so excited because here in Zimbabwe, if you are talking about the roads, the road which was done from here to Parliament, I'm sure the lady was doing that is actually the PS for Minister of Transport is a lady. So to me, I feel women are participating in the developmental projects of Zimbabwe. And also now our generation, we say besides any successful man, there's a woman. If you don't see a woman in anything, then you know that those things are not going to go forward. Because a woman is someone who've got love, and a man is someone who've got respect. So women, when they do things, they do them wholeheartedly, more than 100%, because they want to achieve their goals. So I can just say, Mushamkadzi, yes, and also Vakadzi, they are gifted, they are talented, they want things to move. Even when you look at Zimbabwe, when you look at all heads of states, me, I'll give a pam-pam to the first ladies because they are the ones who will be making those head of states to be where they are. It's unfortunate that a woman is not discussed anywhere where there is progress or where there is something which is good. A woman is the one who does chores. For us to go to school, some of us, our mothers, were the ones who used to go to other people's fields and work and get money so that they can pay school fees for us to go to school. So me, I see that a woman has a very important role, you know, in the doing of things across Africa or internationally. Thank you, Jeff.
So now let's talk about the conference that we just had, the Arise Women of Africa conference. Did it provide a good platform for women to air out their views? And were there any good linkages that happened there with positive results?
Oh, wonderful. Women, ladies there, they were so excited with the conference or with the program. We actually said it was a retreat program where women were learning or getting ideas from other comrades from other countries, like from South Africa and from Tanzania. So we learned a lot and we copied a lot. The good thing I like about Zimbabwean women are very brave. They are go-getters. They don't hesitate to do anything. Even if she has $1, she can start a project. Like in Rise Women of Africa, we have got ladies who started by selling sweets. And when they were giving their testimony there at the conference, now some of them, they've got now sewing machines where they are doing uniforms, supplying schools. So I would say we really get a lot of, we learned a lot on that conference, and also people exchanged views. And some ladies there were told that if you want to come and buy goods from Tanzania, we can help you. Like the comrade from Tanzania said she was going to facilitate like the buying of the goods like clothes, without from the manufacturers, not going to the men who will be selling in the street. So it will be also cheaper for them when they buy those products and resell them here in Zimbabwe.
Well, ladies, we need to take a short break and digest the situation that you gave us. Clearly, the mindset is that women should empower themselves. Mushamukadzi and women clearly want to and are probably heading economic driven policies. When we come back to Focus 54 and the third and final segment, we will be talking about the strategies, like she was mentioning, how countries have been talking to each other, how women from different countries have been talking about using education and decision-making models to make sure that trade is easy across borders. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the third and final segment of Focus 54. If you're a woman, a young woman, old woman, or a woman in general, and you're living in Africa, this is the show for you to understand what other women are talking about. And they're talking about the Arise Women Conference, which was held in Harare, in which women from different parts of the continent came together to discuss economic issues, to alleviate poverty, and to synergize their trade agreements. And with our two experts, this time I'll throw this one to Yolanda. You were also a part of this conference or have had information about this conference. What role did education play in this conference? I know, Nyingitira was talking about
Yes.
how women from Tanzania were telling you how the trade goes on there.
Sure.
But are there educational models, and was there information that was shared from women across different countries on how to trade with each other?
Sure, I was part of the conference which was held here in Harare, Zimbabwe. And what I can say is that you can see that I'm a young woman, and being around modern women, entrepreneurship, business women, I can say that that was the platform for me. I get to be empowered. I get to see bigger visions for myself, and also from the other angles that say, if I attend such conference, I have to give back to the community that I came from, that I have attended this program, and then I've got learned ABCD. So talking about the education, yes, it was discussed from the woman from Tanzania. She talked about education about women with disabilities, and basically about education, she was talking about being accessible, because when you're talking about education, it's a broader term. Education about health, that is women with disabilities or is women in general. When we want to be educated, or when we are going through education processes, there are some hindrances that are around us, that is hindrance of braille to those women who are visually impaired. Let's talk about sign language interpretation to those women who are deaf. Is education passing through to them? And also to accessibility when it comes to health education or the health sector. Is it accessible for young women to access at our local clinics or to access at our public hospital when they want to get education or information about health at its large? And also being taught about how to do business with the cross-border traders. Like, for example, I myself am into detergents manufacturing. You may see that getting raw materials from other countries, how the process goes, challenges, how to clear your Zimbabwean tax clearance, and also how to have full papers so that you can pass through the borders without smuggling. She also specified about smuggling, that it's not good for the both countries. So if you want to be a businesswoman in this country, you have to have full papers. Your papers should be up to date.
Should be
so
nice and
yes, should be
compliant,
nice and compliant to the revenue authority, and also to the both parties. That's the part that she mostly emphasized about that. So that's basically the education that we were taught, and about what Ma'am just said about if you want to buy things, if you want to buy different things.
So that information was shared. Now,
Yes.
Nyingitira, just looking at what thank you. Yolanda spoke about the issue of ethics, taxation, compliance, and there was information on women from different sectors, especially with women with special needs. Were there any commitments that were made, or agreements, or memorandums of understandings that were signed, or just general verbal agreements between countries to trade together? And if there were any, how do we know that, or what commitment is going to be made to make sure that these actually then happen? Like, for example, if Egypt says that they will make it easier for medication to go from Zimbabwe into Egypt, were there any such discussions that were made and commitments between countries?
Yeah, sure, there were discussions which were made, and like our guest of honor, she was from Tanzania. So she said they are going to have what they call Saba Saba, which is like ZITF in Zimbabwe. So she said she's going to invite us, the delegation from Zimbabwe, and go there and see how they do their business. And when we see what we want to do, like if we want to do manufacturing, if we want to do commodity broking, then she will help us to do the papers needed for us to do that business. And also, she also emphasized that, you know what, this generation, it's an ICT generation where ladies should be literate. They should know how to use the computers, because like now when you're traveling to other countries, at the airport, you're not, at other airports, you don't talk to any human being. You'll be working with a machine where you check in yourself. So she said we should also do programs throughout the country where we'll be educating our members to know about ICT.
Now, this was a women's conference discussing how women are going forward. You've just talked about the way forward and all of that. But on behalf of all the men in Africa, what role should men play? I know we have some traditional roles that we've performed, but Yolanda, you said this is a new generation. It's an empowerment-driven generation.
Yes.
What role do we get to play in making sure that the vision of the women within our continent goes forward?
All right, so a vision that men can play is that the most important vision is to support us as women. We know we can do this, but we also need support from men. And there's nothing that we can do that most probably that will not need support, because men play in different roles, even on transportation, even on our daily basis thing. Somehow, we will need a man to assist us. So we need support. So by talking about support, not every man is equipped or is empowered to have such information. So men out there, they need to be taught about these things, that if you are supporting a woman, you should have supporting your women. You should be this. That's your job. That's your role. That's what a man should do. Standing by your side, standing by the woman or by the lady's side, so that we both have the same goals and we both achieve the same different goals that we have.
Oh, thank you very much.
Also
you want to add to that?
Yeah, also to add on to that, Jeff, I think men should help us to break the barriers. Back then, a girl child or a woman was not supposed to go to school. Yes. It was only boys who were allowed to go to school. So if men, even the traditional chiefs, help us to make sure that we all get the same privileges as boys or as men, that will help us. I would also want to thank our president, His Excellency, who introduced the quota system, women's quota, where now women are in parliament, and the youth quota, where youths are now accommodated in the parliament. That was a very, very good thing which our government did. So doing that will make sure we are going to move forward. And also organizations, there are organizations which are headed by men. Fortunately for Pan-African movement is headed by a traditional leader, Comrade President Fortune Charumbira. I think if he supports organization like Arise Women of Africa, PAFMI, Pan-African Federalist Movement, organizations like that, PAO, there are organizations which are being run by women that will take us, somewhere as Africa, and a woman is going to be, celebrated, because it's very rare to celebrate a woman in Africa. But so that's what we want, African leaders, African governments to give women chance to participate in their respective countries.
Now, Vision 2030 is a Zimbabwean concept, something that we are moving around with. Yes. It's a regional concept, it's an international concept in various sectors. Yolanda, as a closing, where do you see women in Africa by the year 2030? So
by the year talking about the Vision 2030 that you just said, we'd also want to thank His Excellency President Mnangagwa. There's this vision that says leaving no one behind, that mantra. It's also helping us a lot as women with disabilities in our community and in our country, Zimbabwe. So mostly organizations and companies, they are no longer leaving people with disability in workplaces as they used to be. So talking about the Vision 2030 as a country, as Africa as a whole, we are seeing that our women will be managing organizations, companies, and the women that are fully empowered, women that are available in the quota system, women that are there to give decisions, quantitative decisions, even at a country, worldwide, women that are informative and educated.
Thank you very much, ladies. The two ladies joining us today, Nyingitirai Mahofa as well as Yolanda Muyengwa, who also attended the Rise Women of Africa conference. And thank you so much. It's a multi-sectoral discussion that we've had, touching on many sectors, different types of women, where women have had barriers before, how we're conquering these barriers, the role of men, and most importantly, are we going as a continent, and how do we break the norms of previous traditional ways of economic inclusion? And the women are saying we are not just being included because we're women. We're being included because we are capable of doing this, and with the right platform and the right mindset, Africa's women will be the world leaders and will be celebrated by the year 2030. My name is Jeffrey Murimbeji. Catch us on the next episode of Focus 54.